Lord Indra's apology. Lord Indra realized the truth of the Lord Krishna's descent on earth. He thought, "Oh, what a fool I have been. Lord Krishna is a divine being with miraculous powers. I challenged the Supreme Lord in my blind pride and jealousy." Coming down to earth, he bowed before Lord Krishna and sought forgiveness. He praised him and sang hymns in praise of his glories. The all-merciful Lord Krishna hugged Lord Indra in the most loving gesture of brotherhood. Thus Lord Krishna taught Lord Indra a lesson to hold back his pride and vanity. Indra did not believe Krishna was God and humiliated him by producing rain and storm, but by protecting all the villagers, Lord Krishna showed that he can easily control the entire universe on the tip of his little finger. From that day on, Lord Krishna came to be known as Girdhari, Girdhar and Govardhandhari, or the one who lifted Govardhan hill or Mount Giri Govardhan. Lord Krishna meets Radha. One day Nanda, the chief of the cowherds, received an invitation from Vrishbhanu to visit his family. Nanda along with his wife Yashoda and Lord Krishna went to visit them. Vrishbhanu had been King Suchandra in his previous life. As a king, Vrishbhanu and his wife Kalvati had received a boon from Lord Brahma that a daughter named Radha would be born to them in another life. Ratha was the incarnation of goddess Lakshmi herself. Her fair skin shone with her inner radiance. She had long black hair and beautiful door-shaped eyes. When Lord Krishna saw the gentle and sweet Radha, he felt instant affection for her. "Will you be my friend?" Lord Krishna asked charming Radha. "I was hoping you would ask me that," Radha smilingly said. Thus a deep bond of friendship and affection formed between the two children. Lord Krishna grew more attached to Radha as he became older. The Gopis are jealous of Radha. As Lord Krishna grew older, he remained very close to Radha. All the Gopis who gathered around him and played with him complained, "He is always talking to Radha. Why doesn't he talk to us all the time instead?" A Gopi sighed and said, "I would give anything to be Radha." As much as he liked Radha, Lord Krishna was also jealous of her fair face. One day he applied color on her face as a mark of protest. Radha laughingly put color on Lord Krishna's face too. The Gopis laughed with delight at this. Lord Krishna said, "You are laughing, so I must put color on you too." Thus, he put color on the faces of some of the protesting yet amused Gopis. Soon all the children started putting color on one another's faces. This was the initiation of the Indian festival of Holi in Vrindavan, in which people play with colors. Lord Krishna tricks the Gopis. One day, when the Gopis were bathing in the river, Lord Krishna crept quietly up on the banks of the river and stole their clothes. He then climbed up a nearby tree and placed the heap of clothes on a high branch. The Gopis had been too busy to notice Krishna, so they did not suspect anything. They prepared to come out, though they were shocked to see their clothes missing. It was only when they heard Krishna laughing that they realized what had actually happened. "Please give our clothes back, Krishna," they pleaded from inside the water. "I will return your clothes if you all fold your hands and raise them above your heads in total surrender," Krishna said. Though very reluctant and highly embarrassed, the Gopis finally agreed and did as they were told. They immediately got their clothes back. In reality, Krishna was freeing the Gopis of their ego and teaching them to surrender themselves in front of the Supreme. The two cowherds. As they grew older, Nanda decided to give Lord Krishna and Balram some responsibilities. In their village, young cowherds were given the responsibility of taking care of calves. So Nanda gave the two brothers charge of the calves. "You must take care of that the little calves are well fed and remain safe at all times," instructed Nanda. Thus, along with the other young cowherds, Lord Krishna and Balram started taking care of the calves. They took them to the pastures every morning and returned home every evening. When they went out for cattle grazing in the pastures, Krishna often played the flute. They also ate amalki and bale fruits. Often to amuse themselves, they mimicked the sounds of cows and bulls and even other animals and birds. However, danger would soon come to the two brothers and the cowherds They feared nothing, for Lord Krishna was with them. Vatsasura's plan. Once a demon named Vatsa was encouraged by evil Kansa to attack Lord Krishna. Who can withstand my power? If I kill Lord Krishna, the demon world will sing my praises, thundered Vatsasura. Thus, he went to Vrindavan and observed Lord Krishna's activities carefully. I can easily trick this boy and his brother by turning into a calf and slipping into their flock. They will not notice me and I will be able to attack them with ease, he plotted. While the cattle grazed, Lord Krishna and Balram played on the banks of river Yamuna. Demon Vatsa quickly changed from his monstrous form into a small, innocent-looking calf. Then he mingled with the other calves so that he might escape being caught by the two brothers. However, Lord Krishna was the eighth incarnation of Lord Vishnu. He sensed something was wrong at once. He stopped playing with Balram and motioned his elder brother to follow him behind a tree. Lord Krishna kills Vatsasura. Brother, don't look now, but there is an evil demon in our herd that has changed himself into a calf. But we can catch him if we are clever, Lord Krishna said to Balram. Both of them planned a simple course of action to catch the cunning demon. Then the brothers sneaked up on the calf, who was Vatsasura in disguise. Soon they both surrounded him so quietly that the demon was unaware of them. Even as Balram watched, Lord Krishna quickly caught hold of the demon calf's legs and tail and started whipping him around forcefully. Then he threw him up in the air. The demon calf fell from the impact on the ground and died. Vatsasura's clever ruse to disguise himself as a calf and trick Lord Krishna had failed, as he was no match for Lord Krishna. Balram and all other cowherds cheered happily to see the death of the evil. Bakasura swallows Lord Krishna. One day, the friend of evil Kansa, Baka, an evil demon, decided to attack Lord Krishna. He took the form of a massive creature and reached Vrindavan. There, all the cowherds were drinking water from the banks of river Yamuna as their calves were being watered. Just then, they saw Bakasura, a crane-like animal which was as big as a hill. Krishna, what will we do now? Cried the cowherds. Lord Krishna said, Be calm. This evil demon will meet with his end at my hands. All except Lord Krishna stepped aside. Bakasura ran in his crane-like form with his massive talons and sharp beak towards Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna stood calmly and fearlessly as the demon edged closer. To the cowherd's horror, evil Bakasura opened his beak and swallowed Lord Krishna. Krishna, how could this happen? Who will save us now? The cowherds cried in sorrow. Lord Krishna kills Bakasura. As Lord Krishna entered Bakasura's throat, Bakasura felt pain and a fiery sensation. He struggled to breathe. As everyone watched in awe, Krishna opened the beaks of Bakasura and ripped him apart. The cowherd cheered and Balram cried in joy, My brother is safe, praise be to the heavens. However, Bakasura gathered the little strength he had left and attacked Lord Krishna. Again, using his sharp beak and razor-like talons, Lord Krishna caught hold of the beak and broke it into two. Then he killed Bakasura so effortlessly that the onlookers were amazed. This incident clearly proved that even a demon of such a massive size was no match for Lord Krishna. He could destroy such evil monsters with a mere flick of his finger. Soon word spread among the demons that the Lord himself was born on earth to destroy evil. Lord Krishna is praised. When Lord Krishna killed evil demon Baka, flower petals were showered on him from the skies as the gods celebrated the death of a monstrous entity. To signal the victory of good over evil, shankhas, conch shells were blown. The sound of the celebrity bugles and drums resounded in the skies. Beautiful melodies sung by the apsaras and nymphs flowed from the heavens in celebration. But the cowherds felt the deepest joy. They all ran to their village praising the Lord. We saw our Lord Krishna kill the evil demon, which was as strong as 1,000 bulls, one of them said. Another one said the evil demon was very powerful, but he was no match for Lord Krishna. Thus, The men and the women of Vrindavan cheered at yet another triumphant victory of Lord Krishna. However, amidst all these celebrations, Mother Yashoda was worried about the safety of her son. Krishna consumes the forest fire. One day, while Lord Krishna and his friends were playing while grazing, their cattle wandered into the deep forest. Soon they started searching everywhere for the cattle, but could not find them. Krishna played his magic flute. Usually, the cows came running at the sound of the flute, but that day they did not come. Rather, they moved from afar. Krishna and his friends followed their sounds and went into the forest. They were shocked to see that the forest was engulfed in a fire and huge flames surrounded the cows. The cowherds cried, "Krishna, please help." Krishna consoled, "Don't be afraid, close your eyes and do not open them until I say so." When his friends obeyed him, Lord Krishna used his yogic power and consumed the fire into his mouth. Then he said to his friends, "Now open your eyes." When they opened their eyes, there was no fire. They returned home praising Krishna all the way. Krishna and Kamdeen. After Lord Krishna had humbled Lord Indra, a divine cow named Kamdeen came to meet him from Devlok, the abode of the gods. Kamdeen had divine powers and she could grant any wish. She said to Krishna, "You are protecting all the cows, who are my children. To us, you are the Lord of Lords. Brahma has directed us to perform the ceremonial bath of crowning you as our Indra." Seeing so, Kamdhenu gave Lord Krishna the coronation bath, pouring the holy waters brought from the heavens and her own milk. Then Kamdhenu said to Krishna, "My Lord, from now on you will be lovingly called Govinda. You are Govinda because you protect the cows and also the entire world. Lord Indra is only the Lord of gods, but you are the Indra for all living beings." The whole village rejoiced at this event. Then Kamdhenu took leave of Krishna and returned to Devlok. Krishna releases Sudarshan. On the night of Shivratri, the people of Vrindavan were resting in the Ambikavan forest. At midnight, a python slithered up to Nanda and began devouring him. Nanda cried out, "Krishna, this python is swallowing me, please save me." Hearing this, all the men began beating the python with blazing logs of fire, but it did not release Nanda. Then Lord Krishna touched the python with his foot and the python shed its body. It turned into a handsome divine being and bowed before Lord Krishna. He said, "I am Vidyadhara, a celestial being who has acquired all knowledge, named Sudarshan. Once I saw some unattractive sages while traveling on my aerial transport. Being proud of my beauty, I ridiculed them. So a sage named Angira changed me into a python, saying that when Lord Krishna would touch me with his feet, I would regain my original form." Saying so, Sudarshan left while the people of Vrindavan admired Krishna speechlessly. Ras Leela. Lord Krishna, Radha and the Gopis were regularly perform the Ras Leela, a joyous dance to lively music. The Gopis would form a huge circle and perform Dandiya Ras. They would dance in rhythm, holding small wooden sticks in hands. Radha and Krishna danced in the center, lost in deep love for each other. Radha's love for Krishna was far beyond the mundane and worldly feelings. She had such a close bond with him that they would share thoughts even in periods of physical separation. Radha was Krishna's constant companion and advisor and stayed with him for over 10 years till he left for Mathura. Such was the love of Krishna for the Gopis that he would manifest into multiple forms of himself, so that no Gopi might ever feel neglected. Thus, none of the Gopis ever felt jealous or envious of Radha, for each Gopi had a Krishna all to herself. Krishna and Sanka Chuda. One night, Lord Krishna and Balram went to their favorite spot on the banks of the Yamuna. While Krishna played the flute, his friends, the Gopis and even the cows ran to the banks of the river. As they all danced around Lord Krishna, a demon named Sanka Chuda happened to be passing by. He was charmed by the beauty of the Gopis and quietly carried some of them away. But the Gopis cried out, "Krishna, save us! This demon is taking us away. Immediately, Lord Krishna and Balram started chasing Sanka Chuda. The demon had heard about Lord Krishna. Frightened, he left the Gopis and fled for his life. In no time, Krishna overtook him and gave him a blow on his head. Sanka Chuda died on the spot. Lord Krishna took out a jewel crest from his chest and presented it to Balram to wear. The Gopis thanked Lord Krishna for saving their lives.
Thanks for watching. Do like, share, subscribe to Sahil Book House.